name is Lindsay Lohr. I currently run the communications and marketing for the Study Abroad office. I studied abroad myself. I actually went to Barcelona, Spain, my junior year. So it was for just a semester, excuse me. And so I'm super passionate about study abroad. It was life-changing for me. I love talking about it so much that I got a job here. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat throughout the session today. I know choosing your study abroad program can seem like a pretty big decision. So we're just here to help and discuss anything that you guys might have questions about, and go from there. So it might seem like a big decision, but really it can come down to a few things. So we'll get started. I put the attendance sheet in the chat already, and if you haven't filled it out yet, that would be great. You can add in some questions you might have about study abroad in there, and then we'll get back to you with any questions we have. So yeah, to just kind of give an overview of what we'll be talking about today, here's what we have. So we have a COVID-19 update. I know that's the biggest question that everyone has on their mind right now. How is study abroad working right now? There's a worldwide pandemic. Eligibility, academics, location, timing, housing, finances and cost, and any special circumstances. So basically we kind of break down different questions students might have about what program will be best for them and break it down by topic. So we do offer over 300 programs at our office. So that could seem like a lot. And figuring out which program you want to go on is a really big question. So we decided to break it down and help figure out what program would be best for you based off of your circumstances. And then if you feel so inspired to want to start your own study abroad journey, we included some next steps at the end of the presentation. So yeah, let's get started. So again, I'll answer the big question on everyone's mind. How is study abroad working with COVID-19? Wow, we're having a lot of students enter in. Thank you guys for joining. So we have a health and safety team in our office that are specifically dedicated to managing health and safety worldwide, and how study abroad works. So we're constantly evaluating the situation in every country that we offer programs in. We just want to make sure that we're making responsible decisions about where our students are going to be going, making sure our students are going to be safe, and then making the decision of what programs are going to be running and which are going to be canceled. I'm sure many of you have seen on our website that a lot of our summer 2021 programs have been canceled. And unfortunately, this news is true. There are a handful of programs that are running for the summer, but not many. So we had to make that difficult decision a few weeks ago. And if you have any questions about that, I'd be happy to answer. But the good thing is we do have programs running for fall 2021. And another thing to consider with picking your study abroad program is that our longer term programs happen to be actually a little bit easier to participate on right now. Because of most countries require a 2-week quarantine period, programs that are shorter term are a little bit more difficult, but longer term programs are easier to fit. Those first 2 weeks you just spend in quarantine, and then you're able to have your study abroad experience after that. So that might be another thing for you to take into consideration. We're hoping and planning for our summer programs to be running again in 2022. Getting a little bit more into that, there is a new thing that is on our application that you have to sign before you commit to your program, the acknowledgement of COVID-19 health and safety security risks. And that'll kind of go into details of what may be required for your country before studying abroad there, things like that. So if you have specific questions and specific concerns that relate to you and your situation, feel free to reach out to your international coordinator. They are here to help you. The international coordinator is kind of like I think about it as like your academic advisor, but for study abroad. So your study abroad advisor. They're experts on your program and are happy to help you with any questions you might have. They're listed on the program brochure for the program that you're interested in. As well as we really dove deeply into our FAQ page on our website. So you can find this, it's listed up here. It's Study Abroad FAQ page. It's on this green banner on any page of our website. And we kind of went through and made as many questions anyone has on their mind right now and answered them. So that's a really good resource. So if you have any questions and concerns, check out that and talk to the international coordinator. So let's dive right into the fun part of figuring out your study abroad program. So like I mentioned earlier, we broke this down by topic, and picking a program can seem like a big choice. It's a big decision. I know I'm very indecisive. When it came down to my study abroad program and my experience, I figured out where I wanted to go a few weeks before the deadline. I just couldn't make up my mind. And I thought I was going to be going to Argentina for all this time. And then I ended up switching my mind and going to Barcelona. And I loved the experience I had. You can't go wrong. But there are a lot of things you can think about when picking the program that you want to go on. So we'll start with eligibility. This is pretty basic. The basic requirements to study abroad on a program are to have a cumulative GPA of 2.0 or higher, be a degree-seeking student, and in good standing with the ASU Code of Conduct. So those three things are basic for all of the different programs that we offer through our office. Other requirements may vary program to program. So some programs have specific requirements that you have to do in order to go on that program. So some of them, for example, have a prerequisite course. For example, you might need to take a specific math class or a business class before going on a specific program. And it'll say it right on the program brochure. So it's very straightforward and very clear to you. There's also some programs require a foreign language. However, most programs do not. You don't have to speak a foreign language to study abroad, and a lot of our study abroad classes are offered in English. However, there are some programs that do have a foreign language proficiency, especially those programs that are focusing on a language. Another example would be if you're a specific student. So some programs are selective in that you have to be a specific major to go on that program. Some you have to be a certain year in school, and those are, if you're a certain year of school, there's a specific reason. Excuse me. Those are for a specific reason, and they make sure that every student will have as much as they can get out of their experience. So that's just the basic eligibility. But some things you might want to think about when choosing your program is, do you meet the minimum eligibility requirements for studying abroad? Do you have a 2.0 GPA? Are you in good standing with the ASU Code of Conduct? If so, studying abroad is an option for you. And if not, maybe there are some things that you can do, like upping your GPA to help you get the study abroad experience that you're desiring. Have you researched the admission requirements for your study abroad program? Does it have specific prerequisite courses that you need to take before you go on that program? Again, I said the next question. Are there any prerequisites you might need to take? These are, again, all listed on the program brochure. So if there's a program that you're interested in and you're curious about how the eligibility will work for it, check it out and look on our website. So I'm going to reiterate, if you have any questions that come up for you throughout the presentation, there are a lot of us here, so I'm very excited. You can feel free to put them in the chat, and I'd be happy to answer them. And then we'll have a short Q&A at the end where we can answer any questions you might have that come up at the end of this. So another thing to think about with choosing your study abroad program is the academic section. That's the academic side of studying abroad. I mean, we're all in college, so we're here to learn as much as we can. So academics is a big portion of that. So one thing I wanted to point out is our study abroad by major guides. I linked it here, so I can take you guys right to it in this presentation. So if you're interested in studying abroad for your specific major, look at these major guides. There's not one for every major and every college at ASU. ASU is a huge school. We're still working on creating them for all of our students. But for example, if you're in the College of Health Solutions, you can find your major in here, and like, let's pick one, public health. And on the program major guide page, it'll give some reasons about what you can gain from studying abroad. This is really cool. It'll go over when would study abroad work into your degree program, and some recommended programs. Obviously, you are allowed to go on whatever study abroad program you are interested in. But these are just ones that are recommended for students in those specific majors. Or another neat thing on our website is you can search by area of study. So if you're interested in studying a specific thing while you're studying abroad, this is our program search. If you haven't seen it already, it's very easy to find on our website. It's right on our homepage, it says program search. And you can find here under areas of study something, for example, your major. If you're an architecture major, you can search for programs that are related to architecture, and go about it that way. So it'll pull up any program that's related to architecture and that area of study, which is really cool. Obviously, the big thing here with study abroad is you have an opportunity to study something else. You don't have to limit yourself into studying something that's directly related to your major. While you can also earn credit for a minor, a certificate, general electives, and general education requirements. So I know personally, I graduated with my degree in communication, but when I studied abroad, I actually got to study business. So I went the route of studying something different while I was abroad, and received an international business certificate that I got to add to my degree, which was really cool. So it worked really well for me because I wanted to get more experience in business and show that I have some business experience with my degree in communication. But I wasn't able to take any classes at WP Carey during my schooling. So it worked really well for me to go and abroad, have my semester abroad and take business classes, earn a business certificate, and study something completely different. Honestly, I loved the classes that I took. One of them was marketing, which I'm doing now, so I use it every day. So it just really helps. It can help you to become a more well-rounded student and more well-rounded personally. Obviously, you can always study abroad for something that's related to your major if you're interested in taking that route. The courses you take abroad count as equivalent ASU credits. So these grades go towards your GPA. This is great because it allows you to remain a full-time ASU student. You can maintain your honor status, still maintain your scholarships that you're receiving. One thing to note too, we recommend to all of our students is to meet with your academic advisor before studying abroad. They're there to help you, and the earlier you bring it up to them, the earlier you guys can start planning what classes to take while you're studying abroad. There's also a requirement in our application that you go and get something signed by your academic advisor. So if you don't have the conversation before then, you have to have it then. And that's just to keep you on track for graduation and your degree progress. So yeah, some questions to consider when picking your program on the academic side is, do you need to complete some credits for your major? Do you want to get a minor, or elective, or language credits? Another thing to think about is whether or not you want to take predetermined ASU courses abroad, or do you want to choose your classes? On typically faculty-directed programs, so these are programs that are led by ASU faculty, and you're in class with other ASU students, those ones will have a predetermined ASU course dedicated to them. For example, I'm trying to think of one off my head. The Fulton FSE, like Fulton Schools of Engineering, 294. And this is an upper division elective credit. And that would be related to that study abroad program. So for example, that's just an option. And that would be with a faculty directed program. On the other hand, partnership and exchange programs, these are the options where you get to choose which classes you take on your study abroad. So for me, for an example, I got to choose what classes I wanted to take at my local university when I was there for the semester. So that's something to think about. If you don't want to if you want to just not worry about it, go and have fun, enjoy your study abroad experience, and not have to worry about the courses, maybe a faculty directed program is for you. If you're really interested in studying something specific, or want to try something new, maybe a partnership or an exchange program might be a good option. Another thing to think about, like I mentioned before, if you want to focus on a new area of study during your program, as well as if you're interested in earning internship, research, or service learning, those are some options that we offer through specific programs. So if you're interested in an internship and having a global experience while gaining work experience, that's an option. We offer a lot of different internship programs. If you're interested in studying research, we offer those kind of programs. So it's really up to you on what you want to get out of it. And that'll help narrow it down to find your study abroad program. So let us move on. Some questions you might want to think about as well is if you want to take your classes in English or in a foreign language. Like I mentioned before, a majority of our study abroad programs, the classes are going to be in English. I know that was, for me, a really big decision. And it was a big factor for me because I knew, well, these are going to be counting towards my GPA. I want to make sure that I'm going to understand and completely be as academic as I could be in my classes, and not have to think through the language as well as the course content. Some students want to have that really immersive experience and take their classes in a foreign language, and that's great. Good for you. In that case, an exchange program might be a really good option for you. These are our most independent programs, and you're taking classes at a local university. You're an exchange student. Another thing to think about is if you would like to take classes that are led by an ASU faculty member, and are you with only ASU students, or do you want to take classes with local students, international students, and American students while having access to professional staff? So if you're interested in taking classes with ASU professors and having an experience with other ASU students, then a faculty directed program is a really good option for you. The name is very inherent of what it means. These are led by ASU faculty. If you're interested in having classes with local, international, and other American students, a partnership program might be a really good option for you. On these programs, you have access to people who are in country and on staff for you to talk to and reach out to with any questions you might have while you're in country. So that makes it, you have like a helping hand through the process with you. That was the program that I went on. If you're wanting a very independent experience, possibly taking your classes in a foreign language, you want to be in a local university taking classes with local students, that would be with an exchange program. So it's really up to you on what you want to get out of it. Another big thing to think about with what program you want to go on, location. Let's be honest here, traveling, study abroad is about having a traveling experience, getting a global experience. So location is pretty important, and that's up to you. So some things to think about with location is if you have a specific culture you're interested in learning more about. Do you want to go to a specific region or have a specific country? One thing I linked here that I want to bring up to you guys is this map search on our website. So if you remember the program search that I showed you before, it looks like this with the different cities and countries, and here's the areas of study. Up here, you can search by map search. So this is really cool. If you're interested in studying something specific, like say you're interested in studying in Europe, like you love that region, you want to explore like the tiny little streets, then you can go here and you can click on Europe, and it'll bring up all of the different programs that are offered in each of those countries. It's a little slow, so bear with me here. In a little bit, it'll bring up all the different countries. So here we go. Like for example, here's Italy, which I know we offer a lot of programs in, and a lot of students are interested in going to Italy. So if you click on Italy, it'll narrow it down even further to specific cities and specific areas of Italy that we offer programs in. So here we go. Here are all, like, lists on the side, all of the programs that we offer in Italy. And then as well as you can see, it'll break it down by city. So if you want to go to Rome, here are all the programs that we offer in Rome, which is a really handy tool. It's just another way to narrow down which program you want to go on. So another thing to think about is if you want to stay in one location during your study abroad program, or do you want to participate in a traveling program that has multiple destinations? That's up to you. So if you want to have a very immersive experience in one place, we offer that. If you're interested in seeing multiple countries and traveling around and seeing different cultures, then a traveling program is an option for you. A lot of our faculty-directed programs are traveling programs. So you get to see multiple cities in Germany and then travel to Austria and Switzerland as well. As well as we offer semester-long programs. One is really cool. It's called the Open Campus program. So this is a semester long, but you spend 6 weeks in each different location. So, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. You spend 6 weeks in a different location, which is really cool because it'll be immersive for 6 weeks and you still get to travel. So that's an option for you. That's a program that we offer. Another thing to think about is if you would, sorry, I don't know what this red line is. We'll just ignore that. If you would prefer to live in a major metropolitan area, in a smaller city or a rural area. I know I studied abroad in Barcelona, in Spain, and Barcelona is a very big city. I like to think about it as like the New York of Spain. It was very intercultural. Everyone walked everywhere. They were, it was just very hustle bustle. So that's one thing that you have to think about. That was that experience that I had. If you're looking for a smaller city, a more hometown kind of feel, you might want to pick a different city. If you're interested in going to a rural area, then that would be another decision you would want to make based off of the location. I see we have a question in Spanish from Carlos. My Spanish is, I'll admit, it's been a little bit, but I'll try and figure out what you're saying. Someone can help translate. Wonderful. Nicole, that's up to you. If you want to just talk, that's totally fine. Or type it out.
I can say it too. That was actually meant for a friend that we were chatting here. But I was just gonna ask, like, how do you think Spain's like culture is? Like, what did you like about Spain?
Yeah, I can definitely answer that question. I mean, I went to Barcelona, so one thing that I didn't really think about before I went and chose where I was going to go was that Barcelona is part of Catalonia, which has its own independent culture in Spain as well. So that was kind of cool. in general, I really liked Spain. It was interesting because it's still very European in comparison to like a South American country, if you decided to have that kind of experience. So yeah, it was really neat for me. I learned a lot. My Spanish improved immensely. I mean, obviously, I've kind of forgot a little bit of it now, but does that help answer your question?
Yeah, it does. I was also gonna ask, like, what program did you take, like, specifically? What was it?
Sure. I went on the ISA University Autonomous of Barcelona program. It's a business program that you can also study international culture. I can link it. I'll look for it and then link it in this chat at the end of the presentation. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, and please feel free to ask any questions. So I'll take us back to the presentation. Like I mentioned, another thing to consider is where you want to be within that country. Another thing to think about is timing. So not only timing within your degree, timing of when you want to study abroad. So, oh, Christian, our presentation recording will be on our Journey Begins workshop webpage. So you can find that on our website. It's listed right there, and scroll to the bottom and the presentation recording will be there. So enjoy class. Getting back into timing of studying abroad. So like I mentioned before, we have programs that are short as 1 week to as long as a year. So how immersive you want to get in your program is up to you. We offer so many programs, over 300 in 65 different countries. We even offer programs that go to Antarctica if you're interested in that. So we got all 7 continents covered. A thing to note is the different application deadlines that are offered per program. So these are recurring. It makes it easy because they're all the same for the timing of those programs. So September 25th is going to be our winter break, our pre-spring, and our spring semester long programs. And that's yearly. So that'll be coming up in September 25th, 2021. November 15th is the next deadline. Spring break and post-spring programs, as well as March 1st, which just passed, is our summer, pre-fall, and fall semester long programs. If you're interested, some of those programs have been extended to April 1st. So that's something to look into as well. But if you're looking to go abroad that soon, definitely get on it and figure out which program you want to go on. So some questions to consider with timing and when to fit in your study abroad.
I'm sorry, do you mind if you go back 1 slide, please?
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So some questions to consider is how much time do you want to spend abroad? Do you want to go for just a short amount of time? Do you want to go for the week? Do you want to go for an entire summer? We offer programs like that, faculty and partnership programs. If you want to go abroad for a semester or even a full year, we offer those kind of programs. So another thing to think about is the flexibility you have for studying abroad. I know a lot of students work part-time and full-time jobs. I did while I was in school. And that can kind of make it more challenging to fit in when study abroad will work for you. So in that case, a shorter term experience might be a good option for you, like a global intensive experience that is only a week long or 2 weeks long, as well as the flexibility of your degree. Some degrees are more broad and easier to manipulate, while some degree programs are really specific, like you have to take this specific semester. For example, teaching is one of the ones that tends to be pretty specific because they have to do their teaching in a school for their last year, I believe. So that makes it, you have to figure out, okay, well, do I have the flexibility to go for an entire year? Or should I choose something that's going to either be over the summer so I can stay on track throughout the academic year, or maybe even choosing one of the shorter term programs, or going over an academic break. For example, if you want to go over spring break, that's an option for you. So you'll have to think about your personal life and your personal experience, and what will work best for you. Like I mentioned before, some programs are, degree programs are more flexible than others. Are you only available to study abroad during a specific term? Like you have to go your junior year, or else you can't fit it in. Or is your schedule a little bit more open, and you can study abroad even multiple times? I know a lot of students at our office too, who study abroad like 2 or 3 times, which is awesome. And I wish that I had, because good for them. So moving on, another thing to think about with your program is the housing situation. So just kind of go in a little bit into detail about housing and how that works while you're studying abroad is to set realistic expectations for your standards of living, considering various housing options. Not everywhere is like the United States. Where I stayed in Barcelona was really small. I had to share a room. If that's not something you're comfortable with, you have to kind of set, like it mentions, set realistic expectations. I happen to really like living with a roommate, but some people don't. So housing options will vary program to program, but these are the ones that might include. So homestays. This is the program. This is what I chose for my housing. I stayed with a Spanish family. She was awesome. I really liked living with my host mom. We still keep in touch. It really helps me to learn my Spanish better. It immersed me in the culture. Another great thing about homestays is that typically you have like dinner together. So I didn't have to worry about paying for my cost of eating dinner every day. And then as well, I got breakfast. So I only had to figure out lunch in the middle of the day when I was going to classes. So that cut out actually a big expense for me for my study abroad. There's also the option to stay in an off-campus apartment. A lot of my friends did that. Similar to what you would do be going to school here. Like you could choose where you want to stay while you're there. Some programs offer the chance for you to stay in a residence hall, so you'll be on campus and with other university students, similar to our dorm halls here, as well as staying in a hotel or hostel. So a lot of faculty-directed programs offer that option just because it's the easiest, especially the ones that are traveling programs. I know a student who stayed in a hostel for her entire study abroad experience. I wouldn't want to do that, but that's an option for you if you're interested in doing that. So check out the program brochure to figure out what options are available for you for your housing while you're studying abroad.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Could you tell some information about residence hall in Barcelona for other audience of these participants? Could I tell some more information for other guests of this presentation or not?
Specifically about residence halls, in Spain and in Barcelona, it really depends. It depends on the program. So if you find a program that you're interested in, I recommend going from there and looking into the residence halls that way and talking to the international coordinator. It's one of our least popular options. A lot of colleges, especially abroad, don't have residence halls like we do here. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to try and figure that out.
Yes, but at the current time, I'm a student of UPC University in Barcelona, and I would like to share some useful information for all the participants of this webinar. for better understanding the situation of Barcelona. Barcelona in the COVID situation was one of the dangerous country at the current time because the residence hall take your whole of your deposits and never take it back. For example, living room is one of them which take 1,000 euros from me. The COVID comes to that residence. All the students have to stay on that place without exception. I leave that place, but they send many letters that we complain against me. This situation is so weird in Barcelona, and no one could help any student in this area, and that's so disaster. I would announce that these important things to other students. Please be aware of these residents and other residents which never allow me to go. That is Resa residence in Castelldefels near my university. These residents didn't allow me go to that place because they think the other generation would like go there because they welcome to other generations such as South Africa and other areas. But my country is belong to Iran, but they never allow me goes to that place. After about 1 month, I was in homeless, go to the hotel, and after that, I go to the students' residence hall with other guys. I would like to announce these things for your guests to be aware about Barcelona rules. Barcelona rules are so restricted. If you sign anything, you have to pay it. You cannot cancel it. It's different from all the European country. It's all in Europe, but the rules of this country is different. Unfortunately, it's different. That's so bad, But I hope.
Here, I want to interrupt you really quickly. That might be the situation there with, I know that you are currently there. When you're going on a study abroad program, you don't have to worry about that. If there's going to be any problems, you can reach out to our office, and specifically related to COVID-19 on our FAQ page. So you don't need to have to worry about those kind of situations happening on a study abroad program. We're here to keep you guys safe and make sure that everything goes smoothly. So thank you for sharing, Milad.
Welcome. I'm decided go to AS University in next semester because the economy of Barcelona totally collapsed. And for future career, it's not a good place, but United States, it's a welcoming place to all the students, and I'm pleased that I have you, and I appreciate you for this information. I'm so sorry for telling this story, but I would like to share all the information because most of the people, such as Abundance, Peter De Mendes, Ray Kurzweil, and other guys knows me because I preparation in many conference and webinar in Singularity, and would like announce anywhere to better situation and for better future for all the students. This thing is so important for all the people. I have to announce these things for better situation for your students and other situation, and I appreciate you have this ability to announce these things for you. I appreciate you again. Have a good night. At this time, it's 12:10. I have to go to university tomorrow. I'm working on a project. Thanks so much for your information, and I appreciate you again. Have a good night.
You too.
See you. Bye. Goodbye.
Take care.
Goodbye. Take care.
Okay, we have a question from Stevie. So you asked if you studied traditional Mexican Spanish. Will that suffice for Spain? Look, Nicola's got you. Yes, so exactly. If you're interested in studying specific areas and those kind of regional dialects, I listened to different podcasts that were Spanish speaking versus that kind of like a different dialect of Spanish. In general, it will get you around, and the rest of it you'll learn there. If you have some basic Spanish skills, that's great. And from there, you'll learn the slang and the different experiences while you're there, the different things like that. So
Thank you. I appreciate it.
sure. So I'm going to continue on with the presentation. Let's see. I can't remember where we were at. So, right, we were talking about housing. So some questions to consider when picking your housing when you're studying abroad. What do you prefer? Would you prefer a host family? Do you want to live with local students? Do you want to live with international students and other other US students? Or if you're interested in staying with other ASU students, those options are varying program to program. Another big thing to think about is if you want your housing to be arranged for you, or if you prefer to find it yourself. Going on a faculty-directed program, a global intensive experience, or a partnership program, that is all taken care of, so you don't have to worry about that. If you're preferring to find it yourself, an exchange program might be a really good option for you, because you can kind of take and make your situation to be what you want. So Ingrid asked, can you go into detail about the options I have in an Obama scholarship recipient? Do I need to pay for housing on my own? Does the scholarship cover it? Can you apply for additional scholarships? So that actually is a really good segue into our next topic that I was going to talk about, is financing and cost for picking your program. To answer your question about the Obama scholarship, I'm going to link this quick to you, and then we'll get back into the presentation. And everyone else might be interested in learning about this too. You can see which scholarships that you receive currently and how they apply to different study abroad programs. And if you are receiving scholarships, you are more than welcome to apply for other scholarships, specifically ASU Study Abroad Office scholarships. Try and get as much funding as you possibly can, in my opinion. It's a great option for you to apply for more scholarships. So getting in a little bit into the detail of the presentation, ASU students received over $1.4 million of scholarships last year. Yeah, Irene, feel free to leave. Come back when you are available. I'll let you back in. So if you're interested in finding more out about like financing and funding your study abroad, I recommend you attend a Financing Your Study Abroad workshop. We offer them every other Thursday at 3 p.m. And they're a deep dive into figuring out how to pay for your program. Make sure that you can search our website. We have a scholarships and grant search that is really handy. It's all scholarships that are specific to studying abroad and scholarships you can only use for your study abroad program. On our website, we also have study abroad office grants and scholarships. So these are ones that our office offers. And like I mentioned before, you can apply for multiple of them. And if you are eligible to receive more than one, you'll receive the one with the most funding at the end, which is great. Especially another thing to think about is college and department scholarships. I know that, for example, the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences gives a $500 scholarship to use for a study abroad program. So if you're a part of a specific college, use the scholarship search we have on our website and look into if your college offers a scholarship you can use on your program. I know many do, as well as national scholarships. So if any of you are a Pell Grant recipient, one thing to think about is you are automatically eligible for a Gilman scholarship, We have a whole page on that on our website, and I would recommend you to apply. It's a really good program, and it's a really good way to get students abroad. Some things to think about is if additional financial aid might be available for your study abroad program, and your current aid will likely apply on the semester-long program. So one of the this was what I linked earlier in the chat. So this is our scholarships and grants page. So this little handy chart is super cool. So it goes over what, if you are receiving a scholarship at ASU or federal loans, it goes over what programs that will apply to. For example, a global intensive experience, all of those are eligible for it, as well as semester-long programs like a partnership program. The Obama scholarship you can use for that. Basically, the way to think about it is if you're going abroad for something that's during the academic year, your academic funding will be applied. All of your scholarships, your financial aid, because of the way that our study abroad office is set up, the program fee is applied directly to your ASU account. So you can pay for it through the scholarships like you do for your normal tuition, which is awesome, makes it really easy. So this is definitely something to look at. Here's the scholarship search that I mentioned earlier, and then the study abroad office scholarships we offer here. Nicole asked, can you start applying for scholarships prior to even planning to study abroad? Yes, you definitely can, and we recommend that students do if you're looking for funding ways, because you can get as many scholarships as you can. So obviously some scholarships will have specific requirements like, oh, you have to use this on a program that's going at this point. Some scholarships don't require that. I know that we offer a scholarship through our office that's specifically for Arizona residents who have never traveled outside of the US before. And that can be used at any point of your 4 years in school. So you can rack up that scholarship, apply for other scholarships like nationwide, and get as much money as you can to use on your study abroad program. Another thing you could think about is paying for your study abroad program through crowdsourced funding, community-based funding, starting a GoFundMe, having your Christmas presents be used for your study abroad program instead, that kind of idea. Another thing I wanted to point out to everyone is this low cost comparing semester program costs page. So if you're thinking about going abroad for an entire semester, definitely check this out. Here, I'll link this in the chat as well, so we can find it later on. So this is really handy because say you're an Arizona resident and you're thinking of going abroad for an entire semester, you can see which programs are less than or comparable to what your tuition would be at ASU. And then from there, you can click on it and it'll take you to that program brochure. I know this was a big resource I used for when I chose my program. It breaks it down Arizona residents, non-residents, online, and even international students. So this is a little comparison key. That's a really handy resource. So some things to think about when picking your program is if your scholarships and grants will be applied to your study abroad program. If it isn't, is that something you're okay with? Will you find other funding opportunities? Or should you go on one of the programs that it will apply to? That's up to you. Another thing to think about is that comparing program costs page is how much is a semester abroad going to cost in comparison to a semester at ASU. Another thing is if you're receiving federal or state financial aid, you can submit a cost sheet to have your aid reassessed, and you can possibly receive extra funding for your study abroad program. So that's an option as well, something to consider as well. So more questions to think about is how much effort are you going to be putting into searching and applying for scholarships? Someone told me one way to think about applying for scholarships is like, think about it as like work. So if you're receiving a $2,000 scholarship and you work for 2 hours on the scholarship, you're making $1,000 an hour, which is incredible. You really can't find that anywhere else. But applying for scholarships does take a little bit of effort, and you do have to apply yourself and write those essays in order to receive the most funding. Have someone look at your essays, things like that. Have you brainstormed any community-based funding ideas? Are you starting a GoFundMe? Another thing to think about is if you pay in-state or out-of-state tuition. So program costs can vary according to your residency status. Obviously, if we go back to that page that I referenced before about comparing the program costs, you can see that some programs for an Arizona resident are listed, for example, as like less than ASU. But then when you go and look at it from an out-of-state tuition, you're like, oh, well, why is that more than ASU? It does depend on your residency as well. Another thing to think about is, have you started preparing a budget? I know I budgeted for my study abroad experience, and it really helped me. We have this budgeting section of our website, and it goes over, there's even this little study abroad budget tool, which is really cool. It's an Excel spreadsheet you can download and work in, and figure out how much money you're going to have to work with when you go. And saving up. If you want to have traveling experiences and go all these different places during your study abroad program, or I know some students go and they study abroad, like they go and travel before their study abroad program, you have to save up. So a budget is really handy for that. You could see, oh, well, I have this much to spend on lunch each day. I have this much to spend on travel expenses, flights, train tickets, things like that. So that's another option for figuring out that. In terms of special circumstances, I know we're getting to the end of the time here, and I want to make sure that everyone can get their questions answered. So I'm going to go over this really quickly. If you have special circumstances, we have resources on our website for almost everything. And so I would recommend you checking that out and seeing if you have a special circumstance, figuring out where you can fit that into your personal experience. Some questions to consider is if you have special needs like a medical condition, learning disability, a dietary restriction that you might need accommodations for while you're studying abroad. That's something you have to take into consideration. If you have extra time that you normally get for taking tests at ASU, will you be able to get that at your university you'll be studying abroad at? Have you considered the social climate, the norms of the places you're going to be going in terms of sexual orientation, your gender identity, racial and ethnic minorities? If you have concerns about that, I'd recommend bringing it up to your international coordinator, and they can answer any questions, help you through that. It might even impact which place you end up choosing to go. So I did a lot of talking. So please feel free to put any questions you have in the chat. I see that Meg typed in one. She's looking at the program costs, and that says there are ASU fees on top of the costs. Is that the college specific fee? I am not quite sure what you're talking about. I'll pull up, let me see. For example, I'm just going to pull up the program that I went on because I know a lot about that one. So this is where I went, and we can break down the program costs there. Thanks for joining, Nicole. And yeah, if you guys need to head out, I will be happy to answer any questions anyone has. And I know that Farhat, you messaged me earlier about the attendance. So I will send that to you. And let me pull that up. Before we get into questions, I want to make sure everyone's set for the rest of the day and things like that. So let me pull that up. Here it is. yeah, if you haven't answered and filled in the attendance sheet, that would be great if you can. Okay, Meg, I'm going to come back to your question. So looking through that, you can see the program costs here. So this is what I've been talking about as a program brochure page a bunch of times throughout this presentation. So this is what it looks like. And you can see here, it says program costs. So all of them have the same basic formatting. So you can see, depending on how long you're going to be going, you can see the different cost sheets. So for example, for this one, it breaks it down if you're a non-resident or if you're a resident student at ASU. So are you an Arizona State, if you're an Arizona resident or an out-of-state student? So the program fee does include your tuition. Every study abroad program has a $50 application fee. And these are the only, so at the top are the only things that are required. International travel service fee, I'm not 100% sure what that is, but if you click on any of them, it'll show you more about it. Oh, it blocked it. It must be like a download thing. Okay, this is related to COVID-19. And specifically that. I don't know if you can see the, the little pop-up that came up, but it's basically covering travel risks, and this must be travel insurance. So if your program gets canceled, you'll get all of your money back. So does that help answer your question? So I'll pull up another different program. So this is how the partnership and exchange programs are going to be broken down. These things at the bottom are can be adjusted based off of your personal experiences. How much money you want to spend on airfare, how much money you spend on meals. That can be an expense. But that's up to you. If you're going to eat out every day, obviously that's going to be more. So these are all estimates. This number here is what's billed to your ASU account. So I can't remember what tuition is, but if I'm remembering correctly, that's pretty similar to what it would be for a normal experience, an on-campus experience. So I'm going to pull up another one that is for just to compare a faculty-directed program, and I'll show you the program costs for that, so we can compare the two. So this is a Paris program. And you can see here's the program cost section. So this will show how it works with this. So this is a summer program. So this is the program application fee. And then this is the program fee for itself. That includes tuition. So that's what's going to be applied to your ASU account. The rest of it is personal. Applying for your passport if you already have it, things like that. So I hope that answers some of your questions about funding and figuring out how to pay for your program. I know that's a big question. Carlos asked, how did I pay for my program? Did I get the Gilman scholarship? I did not receive the Gilman scholarship. I worked. So I applied. I was a recipient of the New American Scholarship as an out-of-state student, and that applied to my program, which was awesome. So it ended up being the same that it was for my ASU tuition. So I think that semester, I mean, I know I took out student loans. I probably took out a student loan for that, which I'm working on paying back now. Everyone loves those. Those are fun. And then I also worked part-time. So I saved up as much as I could before I went. So I hope, yeah, I know some students' situations are differing depending on how your financial situation is. So that's just mine. Meg asked, okay, so she's looking specifically at exchange programs in Japan, but she's not sure if the tuition is in there already. If you're looking at an exchange program, I'm not actually too familiar with them. So I'd recommend that you talk to Abby. She's the international coordinator for all of our Asia programs for partnership and exchange, and she can answer that question more in detail for you. I'm gonna say, but don't take my word for it, that it should be the same as a partnership program where the tuition will be billed to your ASU account, just like all of our other programs. But I don't want to say something wrong. So if you have questions, reach out to Abby and she'll help you with that. Great. You can find her information on her website. And she's really nice. Does anyone else have any other questions? I know we're past 4:30, so if any of you have class or need to head out, thanks for attending. I was going to share at the end of our presentation. I like to talk, if you guys haven't noticed yet. Some of our upcoming events. So you guys have already attended our Journey Begins workshop series. Thank you. We're offering them all throughout the semester. If you haven't already checked out our Study Broad Fest page, check it out. There's info sessions that are program specific offered on there. The web page is open all semester. That's another really good resource for finding which program you want to go on, as well as the Study Broad 101. So I covered a lot of information today. So if you need a recap, our Study Broad 101s are offered weekly, and they're led by a student recruiter. So they can talk about their personal study abroad experience and go over each of the program types more in depth. And then I'd also recommend, here's some more next steps if you're looking for them. If I didn't answer your questions throughout this and maybe you feel a little bit lost, or you want to have someone sit with you one-on-one and talk through all of our programs and walk through our website, go through the program search with you, set up an appointment with one of our peer advisors. They're awesome. They are really knowledgeable, and they'll sit with you over Zoom one-on-one and show you our website, walk through it with you, answer your specific questions and your circumstances. So you can set up an appointment with them on our website. Carlos,
quick question. Oh, sorry.
Sure.
Did I answer his first?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I can answer his next.
Okay, awesome. So I talked to my the first year coach this morning, and
Awesome.
we were talking about a scholarship that they offer, but I
Yes.
wasn't sure if I applied for the scholarship. I think it's due April 5th. If I got the scholarship, do I have to attend a study abroad like that next semester, or can it wait until like
That's a good question. That
just
is
because with COVID, I don't want to go like immediately.
Oh, I totally don't blame you. A lot of students are choosing that.
Yeah.
That is a new scholarship we just started offering.
Okay, awesome.
So I actually don't know off the top of my head. I'm going to assume the answer is you can use it when you need to,
Okay.
because of the worldwide situation.
Yeah.
I think we offer, let me look to see if we have information about it on our website yet. So scholarships and grants, I'm just going to search for it. And we'll see. Oh, I think here we go. First year. Oh, okay. I guess it's not on here yet. I know that we're offering it. Maybe it's on the first year success webpage.
Okay.
And ask them, or you can reach out. I don't want to give you wrong information.
No, you're totally fine. You're good. I
And
didn't know it was new, so.
yes, yeah, it's brand new.
Okay.
So it's offered through Kappa, which is one of our providers. So I think you might have to use it for a specific Kappa program.
Gotcha. Okay.
Do you want to put your email in the chat and I'll get back to you?
Yeah, sure.
With more information. And I know I know we have things about it, and it's brand new, so I'm not 100% certain.
No problem.
But I can get back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. thanks for attending, Brandon. Yeah, if I can't wait for all of you to study abroad. It's gonna be awesome. You're gonna love it. So Stevie asked, where do we find the link for the Financing Your Study Abroad session? Okay, let me pull that up. Just wanna write down Irene's email really quick before I lose that. So, oh. No. Copy her email. There we go. Okay. The Financing Your Study Abroad workshop. So here's our website. If you search here under Explore Funding, the Financing Your Study Abroad workshop is here. So you can sign up for them that way. And I linked it in the chat. So if anyone is interested, other than just Stevie, you can find more information about it there. And then you can register for the session. So it's also over Zoom, and it's held by our international coordinators. So if you have any specific questions for them, they'd be happy to answer them. So does anyone else have any other questions? Thank you all for staying on so long.
I have a question.
Sure.
I actually have two. Just really quick, where's the attendance thing?
Oh, did I not send that earlier? So sorry.
You might have. I just came in a couple minutes later.
That's okay. I think I sent it by accident to one person personally. So I just linked it again. Feel free to answer that. And so Olivia, that also answers your question that you're a planning scholar and you want to receive credit for this workshop. Fill out that attendance form and put that you're a planning scholar, and we'll make sure you get credit for this. Carlos, I'm so sorry if I didn't answer your question. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, yes, yeah, so sorry. So you want to go on the same program that I did. Very cool, so exciting. So when do I recommend you apply? So that'll be, it depends on when you want to go. The program deadlines are the same, recurring every year. If you're looking to go abroad in the spring, you'll need to apply by September 25th. And then if you're looking to go, so that would be spring 2022. And if you're looking to go fall 2022, you need to apply by March 1st. What classes did I take in Barcelona? If I remember correctly, I took international marketing, international business, entrepreneurship, and then Spanish and a architecture class. And I loved all of them. They were so cool. They were really interesting to learn from a different perspective as well. Like my international business was really cool because it was, well, we talked about Brexit, which was happening at that time and how that was impacting the economy and things like that. So it was really, so you're going to be a junior. Yeah, that's a great time to study abroad. A lot of students choose to go their junior year because they don't want to go their senior year and miss out on that last year of school. And then sophomore year, still kind of figuring out. A lot of students discover study abroad their sophomore year. So you're way ahead of the game. That's great. If you're interested, I'll link that specific program. I don't know if yeah, here it is. And you can learn more about it and the different things like that. The international coordinator for that program is Barbara. So if you have any specific questions for her, she can answer them. This is one of our really popular programs. And she knows a lot about it. If I didn't answer any of your questions, you're welcome. So again, if you don't feel comfortable answering your questions here, I didn't mention this earlier, you can scan this QR code and that'll take you to a Google form where we'll get back in touch with you to answer any questions you might not feel comfortable asking now.
I have one more question, sorry.
Sure, no, of course.
Okay, so I know I'm planning to study abroad spring of 2022, but my roommate, she's like planning to study this fall, but I know because of COVID and everything, she had to like get accepted and they only took like a certain amount of students. Is that like the case still for like next year?
That's a good question, and it's hard to say
Mhm.
because things might be completely different next year. Um,
Yeah.
Most programs are pretty open and um, are not very competitive in
Okay.
terms of like things like that.
Yeah, no, that's
So,
what I was worried about.
yeah, I don't blame you for being worried, and I don't think you have anything to be worried about.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's more that some programs might be limiting the number of students who are going on it. But do you have a program that you're thinking of going on in mind?
I'm just like not like this is the first thing like I attended, but I know I want to like go to Europe and like go to like more than one place. Like that's
Yeah, so um, that's awesome. Very cool. So which tab was it?
no, you're
I just
good.
want to I want to show you oh, you mentioned something that stuck out to me. Oh, it'll say some of them, if they're a competitive program and are like that, where they have a certain number of students,
Mhm.
it'll say it here in the program snapshot. It'll say
Oh, okay.
program competitiveness high. And I think you can also search by that, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. Most of them are not very competitive.
Yeah, okay.
So, but if you find a program and you're concerned about that still, reach out to the international coordinator and they'll answer your questions. It might just be the program that she was interested in happens to be operating that way.
Mhm.
Did she end up still going on the program?
Yeah, she got accepted. It was like it was really competitive. It was only like 10 people or whatever. And I was like,
Wow.
yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah, I know. I was like, dang, but I was nervous. I was like, I probably will not get accepted then. So yeah.
Yeah, no. You shouldn't have to worry about that. It was probably the specific program that she decided to go on.
Yeah.
Most are very open.
Mhm.
Like programs that are research or internship programs, those ones tend to be more competitive. Are you interested in either of those kind of experiences?
No, not really.
Okay. Then you should be totally fine.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. All right. All right. Michael, do you have any questions? If not, I think I am going to end the presentation. But I'd be happy to answer them. Okay.